37.6 million ounces. Gone. Vanished from vaults in just 47 days. That is the largest physical silver drain since 1980. And if you know anything about silver history, you know what else happened in 1980. Silver exploded to $49 an ounce. The futures market nearly collapsed, and the entire financial system came dangerously close to breaking. Now here is what should stop you cold. February 14th, 2025. For major South Korean banks stopped selling physical silver. Not tomorrow, not temporarily, indefinitely. They did not raise prices. They did not limit quantities. They simply stopped. At the same time, China blocked citizens from buying physical precious metals through banks. Russia was pushed out of Western trading floors. And right now, something is happening that should not exist in a functioning commodities market. Spot silver is trading above futures prices. This is called backwardation. In plain English, people are paying more to get silver today than to receive a promise of silver tomorrow. That is not investing. That is panic. And this is not about silver going up. This is stage 3 of a 4-stage pattern that has played out repeatedly throughout human history. And when stage 4 arrives, price becomes irrelevant. Because at any price, you will not be able to find it. This pattern has appeared 3 times before. 3 times, the people who recognized it early created generational wealth. 3 times, everyone else stood frozen, asking the same question. What just happened? By the end of this video, you will understand exactly where we are in this cycle, why this time is different, and what the Hunt brothers' $17 billion mistake teaches us about what not to do. Because this is not speculation. This is pattern recognition. And the window is closing.
To understand what is happening now, you need to understand the pattern. Because this is not new, it is not unique to silver, and it is not driven by speculation. It is a 4-stage cycle that has repeated itself every time real money is replaced by paper promises. The pattern is brutally simple. Stage 1 is establishment. A commodity becomes money. Governments back currency with it. Prices remain stable for decades. People trust the system because the money represents something real. Silver played this role for most of modern history. Until 1964, every American coin contained silver. You could walk into a bank with $1 and exchange it for real metal. Stable, predictable, trusted. Then comes stage 2, manipulation. Someone realizes they can create paper claims on physical metal. 1 ounce of real silver becomes 10 paper contracts. Then 50, then 100. Paper is profitable. Physical is expensive. So the system floods the market with promises. The price falls because it looks like supply is infinite, but it is not. Stage 3 is the squeeze. Demand grows. People stop trusting paper. They begin demanding physical delivery. Bolts drain, and suddenly, everyone realizes there are not enough ounces to cover the paper claims. Panic sets in. People rush to convert paper into physical, but the physical does not exist. And finally, stage 4, the break. The paper market collapses. Trading halts. Delivery failures cascade. Prices go parabolic. Paper contracts become worthless. And the people holding real metal learn the difference between owning something and owning a promise. This is why price eventually stops matching. Because when stage 4 arrives, there is no paper market left, only physical. And what matters now is understanding one thing clearly. This cycle does not fail in stage 1. It does not fail in stage 2. It always breaks after stage 3 is already underway. And that brings us to why silver is different from every other commodity on Earth.
Silver is not just money. That is the critical difference. Gold is monetary. Silver is monetary and industrial. And that combination makes shortages far more dangerous. Every piece of modern technology depends on silver. Your phone contains silver. Solar panels require silver. Electric vehicles use silver in every control system. Medical equipment relies on silver. 5G towers depend on silver. Missiles and advanced weapon systems use silver. There is no substitute, and unlike gold, silver is consumed. Once it is used in electronics, it is rarely recovered. It is gone. Now look at the numbers. In 2024, the world ran a silver deficit of nearly 150 million ounces. That was the 4th consecutive year of supply falling short of demand. We are mining less silver every year while using more silver every year. And one industry alone could drain global reserves. Solar energy. Studies show that by 2050, solar panel production alone could consume the majority of known silver reserves. This is not a theory. It is already happening. At the same time supply is shrinking, industrial demand is accelerating, and investors are returning. That creates a collision. Industrial users cannot wait. They need silver to function. Investors cannot print silver. They can only buy what exists. When both groups compete for the same limited supply, price is not the limiting factor. Availability is. This is why silver shortages do not resolve slowly. They resolve violently. And this brings us to the most dramatic example of this pattern ever recorded. Two brothers, 200 million ounces, and a financial system that nearly collapsed.
To understand where this leads, we need to go back to 1979. Two brothers, Nelson Bunker Hunt and William Herbert Hunt, Texas oil billionaires. They believed the dollar was dying. Inflation was running above 13%. The gold standard had been killed in 1971. Fiat money was losing credibility. So they did something radical. They bought silver. Not a little. Everything they could get. By late 1979, they controlled nearly 200 million ounces of silver. Half in physical metal, half through futures contracts. January 1979, silver was $6 per ounce. By September, it was 10. By December, it exploded. January 17, 1980, silver hit $49.45, a 724% gain in just 12 months. Wall Street panicked, not because silver was rising, but because the Hunts were demanding delivery. They were draining the physical supply. Every futures contract is a claim on real metal. And when the Hunts asked for that metal, the system realized it did not have enough. The exchange faced collapse. So it changed the rules. January 7, 1980. COMEX Rule 7. No new long positions allowed. You could sell, you could hold, but you could not buy. The game was frozen mid-play. Then margin requirements were raised overnight. Holding futures became impossibly expensive. The Hunts needed hundreds of millions in cash immediately. They sold. Others panicked and sold. March 27, 1980. Silver Thursday. Silver collapsed. The Hunt brothers lost over $1.7 billion and declared bankruptcy. The financial system barely survived. But here is what everyone forgets. People holding physical silver did not lose anything. They owned what they held. And when the dust settled, silver was still far higher than where it began. The lesson was brutal. Leverage fails. Paper fails. Physical survives. And that lesson matters more today than it did in 1980. Now here's the part most people misunderstand. What happened in 1980 was caused by two individuals. Two extremely wealthy brothers using leverage inside a controllable system. That meant the system could fight back. It could change the rules. It could raise margins. It could force liquidation. And that is exactly what it did. Today is fundamentally different. This time, it is not two brothers. It is not a single fund. It is not even a single country. This time, the demand is global. Industrial demand, government demand, investor demand, and none of it is optional. Silver is no longer just money. Silver is infrastructure. Every solar panel requires silver. Every electric vehicle requires silver. Every data center, every server, every AI chip requires silver. Modern civilization runs on it. And unlike paper money, you cannot print silver. Mining supply has been declining since 2016. Recycling cannot keep up. In 2024 alone, the silver market ran a deficit of nearly 150 million ounces. That was the fourth straight year of shortage. And demand is accelerating. Solar energy alone could consume nearly all available silver reserves within the next few decades. That means this squeeze is not speculative. It is mechanical. In 1980, the exchange stopped two men. Today, who do you stop? The solar industry? Electric vehicle manufacturers? Medical equipment suppliers? Governments stockpiling metals? Entire populations buying physical silver to protect themselves from currency debasement? You cannot raise margin requirements on reality. You cannot halt delivery when factories require metal to operate. This is why this time is worse. The system is not facing traders. It is facing necessity. And necessity does not unwind positions politely. It breaks systems. Now let me show you why this is not theory. Why this is not speculation. Why this is already happening. We can prove stage 3 using the market's own data. Let's start with COMEX. COMEX is where paper silver is supposed to convert into physical metal. If someone holds a futures contract and demands delivery, COMEX must provide real silver. That only works if the metal is actually there. In October of 2024, COMEX had roughly 80 million ounces registered for delivery. Registered means ready to ship, not promised, not theoretical, physically available. By early 2025, that number had collapsed to roughly 43 million ounces. That is not normal. That is not seasonal. That is not profit-taking. That is a 46% decline in deliverable silver in just weeks. That is a bank run, and it is accelerating. On one single day, over 6 million ounces left COMEX vaults. In one day, silver does not move like that unless someone is pulling metal as fast as possible. At the same time, something even more alarming appeared. Backwardation. Spot silver began trading above futures prices. That should never happen in a healthy market. Futures should cost more because of storage, insurance, and time. When spot is higher, it means buyers are saying, "I don't want a promise. I want metal now." That is panic behavior. Then came the banking signal. Multiple major banks suspended physical silver sales. Not delayed, not rationed, stopped. Indefinitely. Banks do not stop selling a profitable product unless supply is gone. This is stage 3. Demand for physical is overwhelming paper. The vaults are draining. Confidence in paper claims is breaking. And once that trust is gone, stage 4 is not optional. It is inevitable.
So what happens when stage 4 finally arrives? This is where most people get confused. They think stage 4 is about price. It is not. Stage 4 is about availability. When the paper market breaks, prices stop being signals. They stop being meaningful because there is no longer a functioning market. Here is how it unfolds. First, delivery failures increase. Futures contracts settle in cash instead of metal. Exchanges call it temporary. They say supply will normalize. It never does. Then trading restrictions appear. Position limits are tightened. Margin requirements are raised. Buying is restricted while selling remains allowed. This is exactly what happened in 1980. The rules change mid-game. Next come trading halts. Technical issues, system stress, market stabilization. But behind the language, the truth is simple. There is not enough silver to meet obligations. At that point, paper silver becomes a promise no one trusts. Physical silver becomes the only silver that exists. Dealers run out. Premiums explode. Spot might say 60, but dealers charge 80, then 90, then 100, and eventually, there is no price at all, because there is nothing to sell. This is when people realize the difference between owning something and owning a claim on something. Paper holders are trapped. They get cashed out at prices they did not choose. Physical holders are calm. They already won, not because they timed the market, not because they speculated, but because they removed counterparty risk. Stage 4 does not announce itself. It does not ring a bell. It arrives quietly, then all at once. And once it begins, there is no going back. The only question left is whether you prepared before it arrived.